Let's move on to lighter news now, and a news that will surprise, well, none of us. Disney's live-action remake of Snow White is officially one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
What?
So yeah,
My agent would have punched me in the face.
I was intimidated, to say the least.
Rachel Zegler is reportedly keeping a low profile in the wake of the Snow White controversy, with some sources suggesting she's even considering therapy to cope with the intense wave of online backlash. At just 23, Zegler is undeniably talented, but her conduct during the film's press tour and alleged behavior behind the scenes has stirred significant criticism. What started as fan frustration over her comments quickly snowballed into a full-blown PR nightmare, with many pointing to signs of controlling and self-centered tendencies, traits Zegler has openly hinted at in past interviews. Adding to the controversy, her co-star Andrew Burnap has recently made subtle but telling remarks about his time working on the film. A respected stage actor from Rhode Island, Burnap landed his first major screen role as the romantic lead in Snow White after a chemistry read with Zegler. In an emotional interview with People magazine, he shared how hopeful he felt after getting the part, saying, "I sat on the ground outside and thought, wow, my life is really going to change from here." But the experience didn't live up to the dream. Burnap's moment in the spotlight was overshadowed by the film's mounting controversy, much of it focused on Zegler's off-screen persona. From controversial interviews to tone-deaf social media posts, her public image clashed with the wholesome, classic identity typically associated with a Disney princess. A viral post from End Wokeness even showcased screenshots of her Instagram stories, highlighting how far she strayed from the traditional fairy tale ideal. Behind the scenes, sources claim Zegler often tried to assert control over how scenes were shot, particularly those redefining Snow White as a strong, independent lead without the need for a prince or romance. One scene that drew widespread attention features Burnap's character stumbling through his introduction, calling himself Jonathan Princess, before correcting it to Jonathan Princess, a line many viewed as emblematic of the film's tone shift. Perhaps most telling was Zegler's offhand remark during the press tour, joking that all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? The comment didn't sit well with fans, who found it dismissive and unprofessional. With Disney now rumored to be shelving other remakes like Tangled, the ripple effects of Snow White's failure and Zegler's role in it are still unfolding.
My name's Jonathan, Princess. Not Jonathan, Princess. Just Jonathan, Princess.
Rachel Zegler's controversies surrounding Snow White didn't stop at behind-the-scenes drama. She took it a step further by openly mocking the very heart of the story. In multiple interviews, Zegler referred to the prince as a stalker and made it clear that the remake would abandon the traditional fairy tale formula. The remarks sparked immediate backlash, with fans accusing her of disrespecting the original story and tarnishing its legacy. But some believe the fallout extended beyond Rachel. Her co-star Andrew Burnap, a respected stage actor cast as the romantic lead, became a surprising casualty in what some online voices now call a Hollywood humiliation ritual, a theory that suggests stars are sometimes subjected to embarrassing or degrading moments as a form of submission or control within the industry. Fans point to specific moments in the film as evidence, like Burnap's character awkwardly introducing himself as Jonathan Princess before correcting it, an odd line many saw as symbolic. The situation worsened when Zegler, during the press tour, flippantly remarked that all of Andrew's scenes could get cut, reducing his role to an afterthought. The incident reminded many of other bizarre Hollywood moments, like John Cena's nearly nude appearance at the 2024 Oscars, where he appeared on stage holding only an envelope to cover himself. Whether coincidence or something more coordinated, fans are connecting the dots. In the end, where Snow White isn't just being viewed as a box office failure, it's becoming a cultural cautionary tale. Critics point to inflated egos, personal agendas, and a disregard for storytelling tradition as core reasons for the backlash. And with audiences rejecting the remake, the message is loud and clear: When classic tales are reshaped to fit modern narratives without respect for their roots, the magic quickly disappears.
Really not gonna do this? Fine, just give out the award then. God, the worst.
Of course, it's just a theory, but given Disney's recent moves, some fans find it increasingly believable. Many are pointing to a growing pattern where classic stories are being reimagined through the lens of modern ideology. A popular American family values channel recently released a video claiming Disney has embraced what it calls aggressively woke messaging. According to the channel, the company is trading timeless storytelling for political themes. And for many longtime fans, that shift doesn't feel like progress. It feels like something essential is being lost. The magic, they argue, is fading in favor of messaging.
So my name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
And what I think is actually really cool this year is we've got a Pride Mickey with a rainbow heart, and he's waving the flag, and I don't know that we've ever had something, I mean, at least that I can remember in my memory, like this, that's like Mickey.
Rachel Zegler's Snow White reboot took a sharp turn from the beloved original, abandoning the classic love story in favor of modern, politically driven messaging. Instead of embracing the fairy tale romance that defined the original, Zegler advocated for a version where Snow White was a dominant, independent heroine, with no prince, no love story, and no need for rescue. The dramatic shift in tone left many longtime fans feeling disconnected and disappointed, arguing that the film strayed too far from what made the original so iconic. The controversy didn't stop with the film itself. During the peak of the SAG-AFTRA strike, Zegler sparked even more backlash with a strange comment at a protest. She claimed that if she had to wear her Snow White costume for 18 hours a day, she should be paid for every hour the movie was streamed. While the point may have been an attempt to highlight fair compensation, the delivery didn't land. Many found the comment tone-deaf, especially during a time when countless actors were advocating for basic protections and fair wages. Rather than gaining support, Zegler's remarks drew criticism, with many calling her out for sounding entitled and out of touch, not just with her fellow actors, but with the fans who once rooted for her.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
18 hours a day? Seriously? With mounting reports of Rachel Zegler's controlling behavior behind the scenes, it's no surprise her Hollywood reputation is quickly unraveling, and the backlash just keeps growing. A new blow came from her Snow White co-star, Gal Gadot. In a recent interview, Gal didn't name Rachel directly, but her words were telling. When asked about issues during production, she cited a lack of teamwork and noted that some were too focused on being woke instead of collaborating effectively. Fans immediately connected the dots. Coming from a respected and seasoned actress like Gadot, the veiled criticism carried serious weight. It reinforced the growing perception that Rachel's off-screen presence contributed to the film's troubles. Now, with co-stars subtly distancing themselves and critics piling on, the narrative around Rachel Zegler is shifting fast. What was once a promising breakout role has become a cautionary tale, one defined by ego, controversy, and a fairy tale remake that turned into a PR disaster. Would you like a headline or social snippet to go with this?
The way I see it is, if you want to have a successful project, then you need to have a very competent team, along with competent and well-behaved co-stars that are by your side all the time and supporting you. Unfortunately, we did not really have that with this production, and the greatest mistake any actor or actress can make when you are promoting a film is when you begin to get very political.
It was obvious who she was talking about. Rachel Zegler stood out as the only cast member consistently making political statements and publicly criticizing the original Snow White throughout the press tour. While the rest of the cast stayed focused on promoting the film, Rachel repeatedly made headlines with her controversial remarks, blurring the line between the movie itself and the off-screen drama she was fueling.
one like 1937 that we all cherish. It really was a very difficult production for me, if not the most difficult production in my entire career. We dealt with numerous setbacks due to some incompetence from our co-stars.
At the same time, Rachel Zegler's Snow White has been officially labeled by several industry experts as the biggest flop in Hollywood history. Backed by multiple box office analysts and insiders, the claim reflects just how disastrously the film has performed, both financially and critically, cementing its place as a cautionary tale in modern cinema.
Move on to lighter news now, and a news that will surprise, well, none of us. Disney's live-action remake of Snow White is officially one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history.
And it gets worse. Rachel Zegler once posted a TikTok of herself attending a screening of her own movie, only to reveal a nearly empty theater. The awkward moment went viral almost instantly, triggering a flood of memes and intensifying the online ridicule surrounding the film's spectacular failure. It's officially reached a breaking point. Theater owners are now pulling Snow White from screens entirely. Audiences just aren't showing up, and ticket sales have completely tanked. This isn't just a box office underperformance. It's a quiet removal, screening by screening, as interest continues to plummet. For Rachel Zegler, the fallout is only getting worse. Industry insiders now report that, following the film's disastrous reception, major studios are growing increasingly hesitant to work with her. Her image has shifted from breakout star to potential liability. With millions lost and headlines dominated by controversy, few are willing to take the risk. And the tension hasn't been limited to the public. Rumors of friction between Zegler and co-star Gal Gadot have only intensified. At the Snow White premiere, the two actresses reportedly avoided each other entirely. No photos together, no red carpet smiles. People magazine later confirmed they're not friends despite working side by side for years. Adding to the drama, Zegler shared a heartfelt post after the film's release, thanking the cast and crew, but noticeably missing Gal Gadot. I learned hard lessons, did hard things, laughed, cried, turned 21, lived across the ocean from my family, made new friends, she wrote. Gadot's name wasn't mentioned. Gadot later addressed the situation in a carefully worded interview, referencing misunderstandings and a lack of alignment during production. A subtle but pointed comment that added to speculation about behind-the-scenes tensions. Then came the viral TikTok. Zegler filmed herself attending a showing of Snow White, only to reveal an almost empty theater. The clip exploded online, quickly becoming another meme in the ever-growing list mocking the film's failure. At this point, it's hard to deny, Rachel Zegler didn't just lead one of Disney's biggest misfires. She also alienated co-stars, disappointed fans, and is now facing an industry that seems ready to move on without her. This backlash goes far beyond a few awkward press moments. It's become a full-blown reputation crisis. What do you think? Can Rachel recover? Was Andrew Burnap right to speak out? And is it finally time for Disney to reconsider its live-action remake approach? Sound off in the comments. We're watching closely and might feature your take in our next video. Thanks for tuning in.